Ryan's office revenge.
The meeting room felt like a server rack running at 90 degrees. Isabella slid the termination papers across the glass table, her manicured nails clicking against her tablet screen like a cooling fan hitting obstruction. Your approach has become obsolete, Winston. We're restructuring for efficiency. 22 years. I'd spent 22 years building this company's infrastructure from punch cards to cloud computing. Now reduced to a 60-minute exit window. Name's Winston Caldwell, by the way. 47 years old, and apparently too old for the new millennium. Damien leaned against the wall, arms crossed like a satisfied systems administrator watching deprecated processes terminate. The slight upturn at his mouth told me everything about his involvement in this decision. He'd been positioning for my role since joining 18 months ago, fresh from Stanford with theories about next-generation architecture. Any questions? Isabella finally looked up. Clearly annoyed I hadn't already cleared my workspace. I kept my voice at baseline parameters. Who's handling the legacy integration protocols? Damien stepped forward. We're implementing cloud-native solutions. Your mainframe dependencies were creating bottlenecks. He said it with the confidence of someone who'd never seen a system fail at 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve. I nodded, calculating exactly what would happen when they discovered why those dependencies existed. My infrastructure used adaptive cycling principles. Systems that required scheduled downtime for thermal regulation and data integrity verification. It wasn't outdated engineering. It was deliberate architecture. Our uptime exceeded industry standard by 42%. Our hardware replacement costs ran 58% below benchmark. I see. I stood smoothing my shirt. Then good luck with the migration. Security will escort you out, Isabella said, already moving to her next agenda item. As I walked past Damien, he muttered, "Should have adapted faster, Winston." I cleared my desk methodically while security shifted uncomfortably nearby. I took my coffee mug, the photo of my son at graduation, my vintage IBM technical manuals. I changed no passwords. I altered no configurations. I simply gathered my personal items and walked out with my head up, watching coworkers avoid eye contact. The drive home gave me time to process what had just happened. I'd built my career when computers filled entire floors and required dedicated cooling systems. Started as a junior technician in 1985 when Isabella was probably learning to walk. Worked through the PC revolution, the internet boom, the dot-com crash, Y2K remediation, and 3 major corporate acquisitions. When I joined Hartwell Industries 22 years ago, we ran everything on premises. Real servers, real cables, real responsibility. The founder, George Blackwood, recognized potential in a 25-year-old kid who understood that systems needed to breathe, just like living organisms. You think differently, George had said during my interview. That's exactly what we need. Under his leadership, I thrived. Designed the disaster recovery protocols that kept us running during Hurricane Sandy when competitors went dark for weeks. Implemented the hybrid cloud migration that saved $8.2 million in operational costs over 5 years.
Created the security framework that automatically blocked 3 major cyber attacks without anyone even knowing they'd happened.
Everything changed when George sold to private equity 3 years ago. The new ownership brought in Isabella as CEO 2 years back. Young, ambitious MBA from Wharton with theories about digital transformation and legacy elimination. She aligned herself with Damien immediately. Both believed in disruptive innovation and modern methodologies. My practical, sustainable approach didn't fit their quarterly presentation slides. I'd tried adapting, created comprehensive reports showing long-term benefits of my systems, demonstrated how our infrastructure outperformed every benchmark metric, even attempted to modernize certain processes to appease their metrics-driven approach. Nothing satisfied them. In meetings, Damien would interrupt my technical explanations mid-sentence. "Let's focus on scalable solutions," he'd say, effectively dismissing decades of hands-on experience. Isabella would nod approvingly, her attention already shifting to the next agenda item. The breaking point came 6 weeks ago when I overheard them in the executive break room. "He's institutional resistance we can't afford," Damien said, stirring his overpriced coffee. "His systems are black boxes only he understands. Creates single points of failure." "Can we transition his responsibilities smoothly?" Isabella asked. "I've been documenting everything for months. We can modernize the entire stack within 90 days, eliminate the cycling dependencies, implement always-on architecture, cut operational costs by 35%. I walked away quietly, heart rate spiking like an overloaded processor. The irony wasn't lost on me. They were talking about eliminating single points of failure while creating the biggest one possible by removing the person who understood why the systems worked. At home, I opened a beer and pulled up my personal monitoring dashboard. 22 years of building relationships with every server, every switch, every critical process. The cycling protocol should have initiated at midnight, shifting processing loads and allowing different server clusters to enter maintenance mode for thermal regulation and data verification. But they'd overridden it. I sat back in my home office, surrounded by technical certifications spanning multiple decades. Cisco, IBM, Oracle, Microsoft. Each one representing months of study, years of practical application. The walls told the story of an industry's evolution and my growth alongside it. My phone lit up at 3:17 a.m. 6 missed calls, 14 text messages, all escalating in urgency. Systems overheating, customer data inaccessible, everything's failing. Call immediately. I took another sip of beer and pulled up the real-time monitoring dashboard I'd built for home access. The thermal readings told the story I'd expected. Server room temperatures climbing past safe operating limits. CPU utilization pegged at maximum across all clusters. Memory allocation hitting red zones. The cascade was beautiful in its inevitability. By 4:30 a.m., Damien called directly. His voice carried the panic of a junior engineer facing his first major outage. What did you sabotage? No greeting, no pleasantries. Nothing. That's your problem. I pulled up the detailed thermal analytics. Those servers were calibrated for load cycling. Push them beyond thermal limits and they'll protect themselves by shutting down. This is deliberate sabotage. This is thermodynamics, Damien. Basic engineering principles. Check the documentation I left in the shared drive. Everything's explained in detail. Page 47 covers thermal management protocols. Page 63 details the cycling requirements. Page 78 explains exactly what happens when you override safety parameters. The silence stretched for 15 seconds. I could practically hear him scrambling to find the documents he'd never bothered to read. This is ridiculous. Modern systems don't need rest periods. Modern systems need proper thermal management. The IBM Z15 mainframes require scheduled maintenance windows. Oracle Exadata systems implement automatic workload balancing. Even Amazon's data centers use sophisticated cooling cycles. This isn't my personal preference. It's industry standard physics. 3 more hours passed. The monitoring dashboard showed the situation deteriorating exponentially. Customer-facing applications timing out. Database connections failing. The automated backup systems triggered emergency protocols, consuming additional processing power and accelerating the thermal crisis. At 7:45 a.m., Isabella called, her professional composure cracking like overheated processors. Name your price. We need you here immediately. My consulting rate is triple my previous salary plus expenses. That's extortion. That's emergency disaster recovery pricing. Check with IBM Global Services or Accenture. Their crisis intervention teams charge 400% premium rates. I'm offering you a discount based on institutional knowledge. She paused. I could hear muffled voices in the background. Board members probably stock price concerns, regulatory compliance issues. Fine, get here now. I'll be there in 2 hours. First, I need to review the current system status and prepare a recovery plan. Before I continue this story, let me mention something. If you're enjoying this tale of workplace justice and technical vindication, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more stories like this one. Now back to what happened when I arrived at the office. I took my time driving in, using the commute to compile a comprehensive damage assessment. The parking garage was fuller than usual for a Saturday morning. Crisis management brings everyone in, regardless of the day. The data center was controlled chaos. Technicians frantically working while executives hovered uselessly. The server room temperature gauge read 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Normal operating range was 68 to 72 degrees. Hardware was literally smoking. I surveyed the scene like a battlefield medic triaging casualties. The primary cooling system was running at maximum capacity, but couldn't compensate for the excessive heat generation. The UPS system showed strain from unexpected power draw. Several server racks displayed amber warning lights. Status report. I announced to the room. Kevin Martinez, one of the senior technicians, looked relieved to see me. Started around 3 a.m., cascading failures across all production systems. Customer portal is down. Manufacturing systems offline. Financial reporting frozen, current thermal readings 87 degrees and climbing. We've lost 6 servers to thermal protection shutdowns. Database performance degraded by 78%. Network latency spiked to 340 milliseconds. I nodded, processing the metrics, exactly what I'd predicted would happen. Isabella appeared at my shoulder, flanked by Harold Morrison, the board chairman, and 2 other executives I recognized, but didn't know well. How bad is it? Harold asked. Bad, but recoverable. I addressed the room. The system needs 12 hours of complete shutdown to cool and reset. There's no shortcut. Isabella paled. That's millions in lost revenue. Yes. And completely preventable if you'd reviewed the thermal management documentation I prepared last quarter. Damien stepped forward, face flushed with embarrassment and desperation. This is ridiculous. We can force a cold restart and permanently damage half your hardware. I cut him off. But please demonstrate your expertise. Kevin, show him the thermal protection logs. Kevin pulled up the diagnostic screen. Red warnings cascaded down the monitor like a digital waterfall. These servers shut down automatically when internal temperatures exceeded 195 degrees. That's their thermal protection kicking in. Force them to restart now, and you'll fry the processors. The room fell silent except for the labored whine of overworked cooling fans. 12 hours, I repeated, and I need complete administrative access to restore proper cycling protocols. No interference, no second guessing, no committee decisions. Harold Morrison studied me. At 64, he'd survived enough corporate crises to recognize expertise when he saw it. What guarantees do we have? 22 years of perfect uptime under my architecture. 0 unplanned outages, industry-leading efficiency ratings, and complete documentation of every system modification that created this mess. Isabella looked like she wanted to argue, but Harold raised his hand. Do it. Give him whatever he needs. For the next 12 hours, I sat alone in the darkened server room, watching temperature gauges slowly return to normal parameters. I used the time productively, documenting everything. The override commands Damien had implemented, the warnings he'd ignored, the alerts that had been dismissed as legacy noise. The forensic trail was damning. Damien had systematically disabled every safety protocol I'd built into the system. Load balancing algorithms overridden. Thermal monitoring thresholds raised beyond safe limits. Automated cycling protocols marked as deprecated and deactivated. When the time came to restart, I did so methodically. Server by server, service by service, implementing proper thermal management and load cycling. As systems came back online, relief spread through the building like successful packets reaching their destinations. I was escorted to Isabella's office where Damien sat rigid and silent, looking like a server that had lost network connectivity. Systems are stable, I reported, settling into the chair across from her desk, but we have a secondary problem that's going to surface over the next 48 hours. Isabella's eyes narrowed. What kind of problem? Data integrity corruption. When you forced continuous processing without proper cycling, the system skipped data verification checkpoints. Some transactions from the past week are showing inconsistencies. What I revealed next would expose the true scope of their technical incompetence. I pulled out my tablet and connected it to the conference room monitor. Here's the cascade analysis. The screen filled with diagnostic data. Customer transactions from March 3rd through March 10th show corruption rates of 12%. Financial records have time-stamped discrepancies. Inventory databases contain phantom entries. This wasn't from the overheating, Isabella said accusingly. No. This is exactly what I warned about in my quarterly infrastructure reports. When you eliminate proper cycling, data integrity verification gets bypassed. The system assumes all transactions are valid because it never gets time to cross-reference and validate. Damien finally spoke, his voice strained. That's convenient. Blaming your design flaws on our implementation. My design included comprehensive error checking precisely because I anticipated human error, I countered, including the error of ignoring engineering specifications. The tension in the room was thick enough to slow network traffic. Outside Isabella's glass office, employees hurried past, stealing glances. News of the catastrophe had spread through the company like a worm through an unpatched system. How long to fix the data corruption? Isabella asked. 3 days minimum for critical systems. Some data may be unrecoverable. Depends on how much you're willing to spend on forensic data recovery specialists. Isabella's phone rang. She glanced at the screen. and I watched her face drain of color like a failing power supply. "It's Hudson Manufacturing," she said. "Our largest client," she took the call on speaker. "Hudson, good morning, is it?" The voice was ice cold. "Our inventory management system has been down for 14 hours. Production lines are stopped. That's $2.8 million in shipping delays and another $1.2 million in overtime costs to catch up. What exactly is happening over there?" Isabella looked at me pleadingly. I scribbled a note. "I can prioritize their systems." 6 hours. "Hudson, we experienced a system failure due to an implementation error. Our lead infrastructure architect is personally handling your restoration. You'll be online within 6 hours. 6 hours is 6 hours too many. We have contractual uptime guarantees of 99.9%. This breach puts our entire partnership at risk. Understood completely. We'll discuss appropriate compensation once systems are fully restored." After she hung up, Isabella's professional facade crumbled like corrupted data. "Fix Hudson first, then we'll discuss your consulting fee. My rate just increased to 50% of total outage costs." "That's absurd," Damien exploded, finally showing some animation. "Data recovery requires different expertise than system restoration. Higher complexity, different skill set, premium pricing. I gathered my things. I need my old workstation restored with full administrative privileges." Isabella nodded tersely. "Give him whatever he needs." Working through Hudson's data issues took exactly the 6 hours I'd promised. Their systems represented the most critical revenue stream, so I designed multiple redundancy layers specifically for their integration. As their manufacturing systems came back online, I could practically feel the collective sigh of relief from the executive floor. By evening, I'd stabilized about 60% of the affected infrastructure. The remaining 40% required extensive data forensics and careful manual verification. As midnight approached, I sat alone monitoring recovery progress through multiple terminal windows. The familiar green text on black backgrounds felt like returning home after a long trip. This was my element. Not boardrooms and PowerPoint presentations, but the actual nuts and bolts of keeping digital civilization running. Damien slipped into the server room around 12:30 a.m. "I know what you're doing," he said quietly. "Saving your career." I didn't look up from the console, playing hero after sabotaging us, making yourself indispensable. I swiveled my chair to face him. "That's a serious accusation, Damien. Are you suggesting I deliberately caused this outage? You knew the system would fail if we modified the cycling protocols. I documented that fact in 15 different technical reports you were specifically responsible for reviewing before implementation." He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. "I've been checking the access logs. There's an authentication signature showing you accessed the system remotely last night." My pulse spiked, but I kept my expression neutral. "That's my automated monitoring script. It pings system status every 12 hours and logs performance metrics. Again, fully documented in the technical specifications you never bothered to read. Convenient explanation, thorough documentation. Unlike your understanding of the infrastructure you thought you could improve, I turned back to my screens. There's a difference between innovation and recklessness, Damien. You confused confidence with competence." He leaned down, voice dropping to a whisper. "When this is over, you're finished in this industry. I have connections you can't imagine, Stanford networks, Silicon Valley contacts. I'll make sure everyone knows you're unreliable, threatening the person saving your company." Bold strategy. I pulled up another diagnostic screen. "Here's what I think will actually happen. When this crisis ends, everyone will know exactly who understands these systems and who doesn't. Your Stanford connections won't help when your resume shows a $17 million system failure under your direct supervision." The next morning, I presented a comprehensive recovery timeline to Isabella and the emergency board session they'd called. Harold Morrison looked like he'd aged 5 years overnight. The other board members wore expressions ranging from concerned to furious. Current status, I began, is 65% system restoration with critical business functions operational. Full recovery will require 5 more days with the following priorities. I displayed my timeline on the conference room screen. Day 1, complete Hudson and top 5 client restorations. Day 2, financial systems and compliance reporting. Day 3, manufacturing and supply chain integration. Day 4, employee systems and internal operations. Day 5, final data verification and performance optimization. Harold studied the timeline. What about the data corruption issues? That's a separate track. We can recover approximately 94% of corrupted data using backup verification algorithms I built into the original system. The remaining 6% will require manual recreation from source documents. And the cost? Another board member asked. My consulting fee, plus approximately $180,000 in overtime for the technical staff, plus an estimated $340,000 in data recovery specialists for the manual verification work. Isabella looked exhausted. The board wants answers about how this happened. I nodded toward Damien. Director Pierce can explain his optimization strategy and why he chose to override documented safety protocols. Later that day, I was summoned to the full boardroom. 10 executives around the mahogany table with Isabella and Damien positioned at one end. I was directed to a seat at the opposite end, physically positioned like a defendant facing judgment. Harold Morrison spoke first, his voice carrying the weight of fiduciary responsibility. Winston, help us understand how we got here. Certainly. I opened my laptop and connected to the room's display system. Let me walk you through the technical forensics. The screen filled with a timeline of system modifications. Each entry showed Damien's authorization codes, overriding safety protocols I'd implemented over 2 decades. March 1st, load balancing algorithms disabled. March 3rd, thermal monitoring thresholds raised beyond manufacturer specifications. March 5th, automated cycling protocols marked deprecated. March 8th, data integrity checkpoints bypassed to improve processing speed. The board members studied the evidence with the intensity of prosecutors reviewing a smoking gun. Damien interjected desperately. These optimizations were necessary for modernization. His protocols were creating artificial bottlenecks. Let me show you the performance data, I continued, advancing to the next slide. Under my architecture, 99.94% uptime, 42% above industry standard. Energy consumption 38% below benchmark. Hardware replacement cost 61% lower than competitors. And under the new architecture? Harold asked, though his expression suggested he already knew the answer. 14-hour total system failure, estimated $17.3 million in direct costs. Potential $23 million in client penalties and lost business. Plus immeasurable damage to reputation and client trust. The room fell silent except for the barely audible hum of the building's HVAC system. Harold turned to Damien. Director Pierce, can you explain the rationale for overriding documented safety protocols? Damien's response was a masterclass in corporate deflection. We were implementing best practices from leading technology companies. The cycling requirements seemed outdated for modern hardware. I interrupted. Did you consult with IBM before modifying their Z15 mainframe protocols? Did you contact Oracle about bypassing their Exadata safety parameters? Did you verify with Dell that their PowerEdge servers could handle continuous maximum load without thermal cycling? His silence was answer enough. Harold looked around the table. The board needs to make some decisions. Winston, would you step outside while we deliberate? I spent 45 minutes in the hallway, watching through the glass walls as heated discussions unfolded inside. Isabella gesturing defensively. Damien pointing at charts on his tablet. Harold asking pointed questions that generated uncomfortable shifts in body language. When I was called back, the atmosphere had changed completely. We've reached several conclusions, Harold announced. First, we're immediately restoring all original cycling protocols and safety parameters. Second, we're offering you a 12-month contract as Chief Technology Officer to oversee complete infrastructure modernization. I hadn't expected that level of vindication. My consulting rate remains triple my previous salary, plus equity participation and a seat on the technical advisory board. Harold slid a contract across the polished table. We've learned to value institutional knowledge. Winston. Some of us just needed an expensive reminder. Damien's face cycled through several error states before settling on stunned disbelief. Over the next week, I worked around the clock implementing systematic recovery procedures. Systems came back online methodically. Data was recovered through painstaking verification processes. The company limped back toward normal operation, scarred but wiser. On Friday afternoon, I found Damien cleaning out his office, boxing up personal items with the defeated posture of a process that had been forcibly terminated. Transitioning to a new role, I asked from the doorway. He looked up, resignation replacing his previous arrogance. Systems analyst, Detroit office. Effective Monday. Detroit's not so bad, good automotive industry connections. You might learn something about mission-critical systems where failure isn't acceptable. He paused in his packing. You orchestrated this whole thing, didn't you? knew exactly what would happen. I considered his question carefully. I documented what would happen if safety protocols were ignored. The rest was just basic physics and human nature. I still think you manipulated the situation. Damien, here's what I've learned in 22 years. Good systems anticipate human error and design for recovery. Bad systems assume perfect operators and fail catastrophically when reality intervenes. I stepped closer. You weren't the first person to think experience was obsolete. You won't be the last, as he hefted a box of belongings, I added. Next time you think about replacing the architect, make sure you understand the blueprint first. 6 months later, I stood at the National Infrastructure Technology Conference, accepting the Excellence in Engineering Leadership Award. The applause was thunderous as I approached the podium, looking out at 800 of the industry's top professionals. Thank you for this honor. It's particularly meaningful because it recognizes something I've believed throughout my career, that wisdom isn't about knowing the latest trends. It's about understanding timeless principles that survive technological change. From the audience, Harold and several board members beamed proudly. Isabella sat in the middle section, her expression professionally neutral but respectfully attentive. I want to share an insight that guided me through some challenging times recently. Good engineering doesn't fear disruption, it anticipates it. The systems we build should expect change and adapt to it, growing stronger through adversity rather than breaking under pressure. The irony wasn't lost on me. In trying to eliminate what they called legacy thinking, they had made their modern approach obsolete. Now they operated within my architecture, following my protocols, implementing my vision for sustainable technology growth. As I concluded my speech to resounding applause, my phone buzzed with an alert from our monitoring system. Our largest competitor was experiencing cascading network failures across their entire infrastructure. The same company that had tried to poach our clients during our outage, promising better uptime and more modern systems. I smiled, slipping the phone back into my pocket. Sometimes karma compiles itself. Sometimes the systems you build deliver exactly the justice they were designed for. The company's stock price had recovered completely within 3 months. Client confidence returned as our improved systems demonstrated even better performance than before. My reputation in the industry reached new heights, with speaking requests and consulting offers arriving weekly. But the real satisfaction wasn't professional vindication. It was knowing that sometimes experience matters more than innovation. Sometimes wisdom trumps enthusiasm. Sometimes the person they try to discard becomes exactly the person they need most. If you've enjoyed this story of workplace justice and professional vindication, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts in the comments about times you've seen experience finally get the recognition it deserved. Have you witnessed someone underestimated prove their irreplaceable value when crisis struck? Your engagement helps bring more stories like Winston's to light, where patience and expertise triumph over corporate politics and technological arrogance. Until next time, remember that being called obsolete sometimes just means they haven't caught up to where you already are.